Howdy. So I was a camera assistant on many films. I'm not going to say names, but I was on a few that had short ends as a loader. A lot of stress. I wanted to know, did you use a lot of short ends on this film? And if so, was the loader sweating? I'm just wondering, because I did a big music video with a big artist, and we did a plane shot, and we only had 2 cans. And I'm loading it, I'm sweating overnight. Everything was good, Technicolor, got the film back. I was like, whew, was this a short end film, or was it all, you know?
Let's explain to everybody.
Yeah,
I'll speak
Sorry.
for it. I'll answer this one. This
Okay.
was an area of my specialty in that I made television commercials before I made this film, and I was a cameraman. I learned from Caleb Deschanel, who makes fantastic films. He's one of the best, maybe the best in the United States. His daughters, Emily and Zoe, you see them frequently on TV shows and stuff, The It Girl and whatnot. And short ends is the term used for the leftover film from the major or the big roll of film that you get that you start with when you start photographing. So you put in 1,000 feet or 500 feet, whatever it will be, 400 or 1,000, and you shoot shots, but shots last for a certain amount of time, and sometimes you don't have enough film to do one more shot. So you replace that. That small piece is called a short end. Usually it's thrown away or sent off for re-silvering, take the silver out of it and make money back. And some films go out and buy that short end, that small piece of film, maybe it's 100 feet as opposed to 1,000, and use that to make their film when film is used frequently or commonly, because it's cheap. Instead of paying $1 a foot, you can buy a short end for 20 cents a foot. But you have to constantly change the magazines and reload the cameras because it runs out much more quickly. But you lose time when you do that, so it's a trade-off. We went forward with about 125,000 feet of film, I think, in 1,000-foot loads mostly to make this film. We didn't use short ends, but there were times when the short ends were saved, and I put them in a box, and when I went back to Los Angeles, that's what we used to photograph all the pickup shots, the additional photography. I went out with the camera, and we just shot these shots basically for free.
Thank you. B-roll is a little bit more, less heartbreaking if there's a problem. So thank you, brother.
Thank you, sir, for your question. We'll go over here next.
My name is Amity, and I wanted to know how long did the SFX take each time for like each actor into the different scenes?
Speak
I
to
don't know
the
that shit. The special effects,
Yeah.
the mechanical effects, or the animation, which is really what we're looking at, pixelation and animation. Do you mean the wrapping of the corn around a leg, or the thing in the ground, or those kind of things?
Yeah.
Yeah, good question. It varied from shot to shot. Some of them were very, very simple and primitive. When our hero walks, or John's favorite character, walks to the cornfield and the stalks of corn part, that is simply fish wire tied to the corn stalks pulled by people left and right. When the corn wraps, which were rubber, ears of corn, rubber leaves and so forth, around the leg of Peter Horton, that was all pre-wrapped very quickly. It takes about 2 minutes. Then you turn the camera upside down. The film is loaded and played in reverse, and so when you play it back forward, it shows everything going backwards. So we just pulled it off, and then in reverse, when it plays, it rolls back onto the leg. That took about 10 minutes. So some of them were very easy, some took a little bit more time because of the weather and the conditions and the number of people involved. It just varies. But it's a slow process relative to dialogue scenes or dramatic scenes where we plot it out, shoot it, and then cover it with different angles.
Thank you so much. We'll go over here next.
Hi, my name is Brad. I was just curious, for R.G. Armstrong as the gas station attendant, you had the dog named Sarge. Was that a reference to Evil Speak by chance and his part in the movie? No?
Whoa. This is a cheap-ass movie. I didn't think we did anything like... no, it was not, and it's neat that you see that in it. There's a number of other references in films to other important films, particularly the ones that I enjoyed and grew up on, but not that one.
Okay.
Not that one.
Cool.
That would have
The
been
other
cool.
thing
But
was-
I'll take it. I'll say yeah, sure. Of course it was.
When you shoot the cornstalk out, when he's tied on to it and he's about to, change in the cornfield, was that all just a practical effect that you did with a full-sized T-shaped, or cross-shaped corn, or did you do like a miniature and shoot that like up close?
No, the only miniature in the film is when John is allegedly shot into space on the crucifix. Yeah. Everything is full and real and so forth, and we just dealt with the problem of the corn dying and trying to resuscitate the vitality of everything. But basically, it's what it is. Yeah.
Nice. Thank you.
I've had people ask me how it was being shot up on the cross. What did they do to protect me? So I just went along. That was fine.
I think that thing was only about this big.
Awesome.
And we shot it with air, through an air cannon up in Los Angeles, someone's backyard.
Neat. Thank you.
We'll go over here next.
Hi, my name is Jake. I was wondering, towards the end of the movie, when you set the actual cornfield on fire, what kind of, I know you said you had fire trucks, stuff like that there, but what kind of permits, precautions did you have to take when, setting the entire cornfield on fire and having the explosion? Were you checking to make sure there's no animals in there? Or, I assume you don't want a flaming raccoon running out in the middle of the shot.
I'm laughing because I must say that I don't think we got really strong support on the destruction and our plan to destroy this guy's cornfield. I think we just kind of snuck out there and burned this sumbitch. But in truth, yes, there was an enormous amount of fire support and protection. However, the truth was that the explosions were what are called gas bombs, and they are they're just big trash bags filled with gallons of gasoline. So a 33-gallon trash bag, about 5 of them, buried in a tube in the ground, like about 6-8 feet down, just recreate the muzzle and the projection of a rifle. So it explodes and everything shoots up, and you can make a 50 or 80 foot high fireball that way. And it's neat. So the idea was to station cameras around and lock them down so that we could take 3 takes at these explosions causing the great fire and then put them all together, superimpose. But there was brandy involved, I think, to keep warm on the part of the camera people, and they moved cameras. So nothing matched up when we finally got it all back. And we just went ahead and burned the cornfield. And the trucks were there, and as John pointed out, it was a spectacle. I don't know how many people showed up at 5 in the afternoon with lawn chairs and barbecue waiting for it. It's huge. Permit-wise, the city or the county that governed our area, they were wonderfully supportive, and they just more or less through a handshake said, sure, if you have X number of firemen and my brother's involved, everything will be fine.
Thank you very much. I definitely want to try that.
Yeah, don't try it at home.
Don't try that at home.
Let me ask really quick our guests, because it looks like we have about 4 people still in line. Do you want to take these last 4 questions before
Yeah,
we
let's
do
keep
that?
going. Yeah.
Okay,
Of course.
great. So we'll go with you next, sir. Yep.
Just curious if you have opinions how this would rank compared to other adaptations from Stephen King.
What was the question?
We were talking about that in the car. I was like, isn't this the most popular Stephen King, most popular Stephen King movie ever made? And these guys are like, well, The Shining was pretty good, and Shawshank Redemption, that was pretty good too. But there was Christine, I think what Fritz said, and I'll let him say it because he can say it better than me, in terms of profit per expenditure, what was that formula?
The idea how much this cost, which was under $1 million, versus how much it's grossed in terms of revenues and then profit from that. This was a really good ratio. Small amount of cost, it's been very profitable for those who got all the money. Something like Shining cost a lot of money, and it made a lot of money, but it was very small margin of profits relative to ours. So I think we're up there in the box office, but not necessarily in, gosh.
Did that answer your question? Did that answer your question? Okay, great.
And over here?
Hi, I'm Bill. I got a question for John.
Which John?
I believe it was part 6 you came back for.
Yes, I co-wrote 666, Isaac's
Yeah.
Return, and we were told, write whatever you want for our first draft. And so we had Malachi at a mental hospital. I was there too, and we were just like, it was insane with explosions and Isaac taking over the world, and it was, again, low budget. And so we turned in a first draft, and they're like, we can't afford this. What is this? You know, it's like, go back. We can afford you chop a girl in half. We can afford you to electrocute somebody. You know, they gave us a list of what murders we could do, and it was, you know, right by number. So, but yeah, it turned out better than I thought it was. Kari Skoglund was the director, and she really helped us shape the script. And Nancy Allen was in it, and Stacy Keach, and so it turned out much better than I was expecting. So.
Were you excited to revisit the role?
Oh yeah, I mean, we had gone in and pitched, you know, having Isaac come back even before 2, because they were like 6 or 7 years before number 2 came out, and they're like, well, we're not ready for a sequel, blah blah blah, and then they were cranking out. Suddenly it popped 2, 3, 4, 5, and so we went in and pitched, and they're like, oh, this is a no-brainer. Isaac's Return. They were ready to end the series, and they were going to bookend it with Isaac. So we tried to get Malachi in there, but they was like, we can't afford that. So, but it was really cool to write the script and bring back the voice of Isaac. And my favorite line in that movie is, I don't have a soul. So that was really cool.
Thank you.
Sure.
Sorry, I got 2 more. One, I'd really like to know what you shot this on, BL4, or was it a Panavision cameras? And secondly, I worked on some horror films about 3 years ago, and they aimed for 12 pages a day. I wanted to know, what did you shoot this on, like 4 pages? I'm interested to know, because horror films today are run and gun. You're pushing the camera cart up a hill, setting up the next shot, hoping the sun doesn't come up. Just curious to know.
Well, I'll answer that. It's a technical thing. The camera of choice, and my favorite camera at the time, was the Aeroflex BL3, and I know you guys don't know that, but it's a smaller German camera, and it utilized the Zeiss lenses, which were beautifully sharp and really cool, and it was a nice handheld, nice weight, and it was really good. And then you got to remind me of the second question.
The second question.
Oh,
Pages a
pages.
day.
A feature film, 12 pages a day, and these guys will tell you, is absolutely insane work. It
Yes.
is
I've
too
done
much
it.
work.
It's insane.
You cannot do that much work. A TV show does maybe 10, right?
Yeah.
And that is just super fast,
Run
hard
and
work.
gun.
Everyone knows all their jobs. Everything is blocked out, so it's very simple work. We did 3 pages a day, I think, on the average.
Wow, that's like, that's
Yeah.
nowadays that's a high budget film. No,
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Hi. I don't have a question. I just wanted to thank you guys for shaping an entire generation in the pop culture. Because I'm sitting here Gen X and I'm seeing so many young people who don't, you know, they're watching it, they're loving it, but they weren't the same age as you when they watched it, you know? Like I was 14, I was 14 when it came out, so, and I lived right next to a cornfield, out, you know, out a ways out now being out here. And so yeah, and I had an older brother who basically terrorized me from every movie he ever watched, so I'm not afraid of anything anymore. So, you know, I just thank you again. You guys are awesome, and thanks for coming to you.
You're welcome.
So everyone, we're going to escort our guests to the balcony, and please join us there for meet and greet. Thank you all for being here. Thank you so much.
Thank you all for coming.
Thank you
We
very
really
much.
Appreciate it.
This is only because of you. Thank
you.
you so much. Thank you.